What's up, horror fans? It's Danny.
And Charlotte.
From the Lassercast. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We are getting ready for Scream. Not Scream 5, even though it is Scream 5, just Scream, coming up on...
That's what slasher movies like to do.
Yeah, coming up in about 2 weeks from now, from when we're filming. By the time this video goes up on the channel, we should already have our Scream 2 video up there. We are reviewing the Scream films. Charlotte and I watched the original Scream a long time ago. It was one of like her first big-time horror movies when she was just getting into horror. And then we watched Scream 2, which you liked.
Yes,
a lot, actually. And we just got done watching Scream 3.
And oh my god, Scream 3!
Well, okay, so based on that, it sounds to me like you didn't love it.
I didn't love it, but at least I was a little more happy than seeing Billy's mother as a killer.
So, Scream 3 is, on the whole, I feel like Scream 3 isn't a terrible watch. It goes by, you know, for a movie that's almost 2 hours, it goes by pretty quickly. What's the matter?
Sorry. Never mind, I'm just laughing at Gale's hairdo.
Oh, yeah. The biggest death in this film was Courtney Cox's great haircut from part 2.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the bang look was not a good choice. The biggest difference, I mean, there are enough stories, so you obviously don't know this, but there was a lot of craziness in Scream 3 involving the script, the actual writing of the movie. The guy who wrote this movie was not the guy who wrote the first 2 Scream movies. And from everything I've read, he was writing and rewriting the movie like every day. And you can tell, especially when you get to the last act, that this movie kind of is just going in so many different directions. Yeah. I made a list, like, instead of just writing like plot points and stuff, I like made a list of pros and cons for myself. The list of cons far outweighs the pros. In fact, the
killer is everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, look, this movie came out, oh my god, it's 2022 now, 22 years ago. One nice thing I'll say about this movie has a kick-ass soundtrack. So, yeah, I really enjoy the soundtrack in this movie. It was one of those CDs.
Randy was back.
Randy is back, yes. So, Charlotte, like me and like most Scream fans, were very angry and very upset to see Randy, Jamie Kennedy, get killed in Scream 2. It should have been Dewey. I agree with you. And we said that in our Scream 2 review.
Dewey's amazing, but it should have been Dewey.
See, I don't think Dewey's amazing. I think by this movie, it's just like, how many times can you watch Dewey get his butt whipped
How
and
many
get
times can
stabbed
you see,
and killed?
How many times can you see Dewey and Gale fight in the beginning of the movie and then kiss at the end?
Yes.
And just like...
Well, that's I think the problem. You know, like what? So you brought up the fact that Randy is back, and to me it was very obvious that this scene was done. There's actually a joke before this where one of the characters goes, "Yeah, I'm the replacement Randy," because everybody was so upset because they killed him in the first in Stab 2, because in this movie they're making Stab 3. I think they knew what a mistake they made by killing off Jamie Kennedy, Randy. So they brought him back in this, like, watch this tape. You know, it's my last will and testament. If you're watching this, I've been killed. And he talks about the rules of trilogies. And one of the first rules he says is, all bets are off in part 3. Any of the main characters can die. None of the main characters die.
Like, come on.
And it's like... We're 3 movies in. Sydney, Gale, Dewey. You know, we both said Dewey should have died in part 2. I stand by that.
I stand by that, but I still love Dewey. I mean, he's part of the trilogy. He's probably like has gray hair.
I'll tell you. Yeah, I don't know, but there's
Randy.
first of all, Ghost Mom. What did you think?
Ghost Mom? Oh my god. Ghost Mom.
What do you think of Ghost Mom?
Ghost Mom is Ghost Mom. I don't know what to say. I mean, how?
I think it was really ridiculous to have, again, part 3 of an incredibly well-grounded in reality series, and suddenly you have this supernatural...
There's always this one movie
I mean, look,
in the trilogy.
We know that Wes Craven has a thing about doing dreams.
Yes.
And movies about dreams.
And fake supernatural things. But come on, Wes Craven.
But, yeah.
Come on.
This was a step too far for me. The Sydney having a zombie mom dream sequence at the beginning of this movie was really bad. Also, it's 2022 now, and I still don't think the technology that this movie uses for the voice box works. The idea that you can use you can perfectly sound like any person, not even celebrities, not even celebrity voices. Like you could have Siri, or you could have the GPS in your car sound like a celebrity. Morgan Freeman can drive you around as the voice of your GPS. But like, there's no voice box where I can start talking like Christopher Walken. I mean, I can do a Christopher Walken impression.
Hi.
I mean, sure, we gotta watch Scream 3.
Okay.
All right. So the voice box thing was completely ridiculous. The explosion was ridiculous. Some of the acting in this movie some of the characters in the acting really annoyed me.
What annoys me about this movie is they make it look like it's someone else. Like in this movie, I thought it was the sweet little girl, Angelina. I thought it was Angelina.
Emily Mortimer in one of her first movies, and she's not good in this movie.
Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah, the movie came out 22 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Before we get to spoilers, I do want to talk about to me, the biggest positive in this movie. Aside from the fact that this movie has some amazing cameos, and no, I'm not talking about Jay and Silent Bob. That was a step way too far. But this movie has Lance Henriksen, who is Bishop in is another toy we found today.
It's another toy.
Bishop in Aliens, rather. This movie also has a cameo from Roger Corman. Patrick Warburton plays Stone. And then, of course, there is
Princess Leia herself.
Yes, Carrie Fisher, who even gets to make a joke about how, yes, I look just like Princess Leia and I was up for the role. Yeah, loved seeing those cameos. But to me, the best part of this movie was Parker Posey, the actress who plays Jennifer. Fake Gale, fake Gale Weathers.
She was pretty funny.
I loved her in this movie so much. And this is the second straight movie where there is a character. Actually, this is like a thing that the Scream movies have done, really. Because Tatum in part 1, Rose McGowan, the blonde who gets her head crushed in the garage.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of people loved her character. And she was really fun.
Yeah.
But she died. And then in part 2, you had Cece, Buffy.
Oh, yeah.
You also had, Mickey ended up being one of the killers. Randy, of course, died in part 2. But Jennifer, Parker Posey's character, fake Gale Weathers,
it's just funny.
She is in this movie for the whole time. Yeah. She starts out as like this really kind of bitchy character towards Gale, and then they end up like running through the house holding hands at the end. And like, she was so close to making it to the end. And to me, again, they kill her
I think it was Dewey's fault.
I mean, that's another thing about Dewey doesn't do anything right.
Dewey doesn't do anything right.
He needed to be told specifically to shoot the killer in the head. Like,
at first I was like, why do you have to shoot him in the head? And I was like, oh wait,
And here's the other part of this movie that really it annoys me. Up until the last act of this movie, Sid is not in this movie at all. Oh, Neve Campbell is not in this movie. Up until the last act, when she gets to the house.
Yeah.
She's, like, barely in the movie. She's kept on the periphery of things.
Me.
Now, the big reveal of the killer, what did you think?
I thought it was weird. I mean, Mickey was an okay one. Billy and Stu were the best so far. But Crazy Mom was not good. But, can I reveal?
Yeah, go ahead.
The killer was Roman, the guy who we all thought was dead, and even Gale made sure of it. Made sure by the pulse.
Yeah, oh yeah. Apparently Gale, maybe he's like Pierce Brosnan's James Bond. He's able to slow his heart rate so much that he doesn't have a pulse. But Gale took his pulse and
nothing happened.
Whatever. Roman is played by Scott Foley. He is the director of Stab 3. Now, here's some of my problems with the reveal in itself. The whole plot point about Sydney's mother and how, and again, this goes back to what Randy said in the video. It goes where in a trilogy, forget what you know about the past. So we find out that Sydney's mom left Woodsboro, went to Hollywood to become an actress, kind of got used and abused by the studio system and by, perverted guys in Hollywood, and had him, but then refused to acknowledge him as her son later on.
Wait.
And, oh, did you not even pick up on that? Oh, yeah, he was Sydney's brother, Roman. Yeah, so maybe that's why this plot point isn't great, because we just watched the movie and she didn't even realize. And
I heard something about being their brother, but I didn't actually believe it at first.
Yeah, so apparently Sydney's mom had him and then went home to Woodsboro and raised a family. And when he found out who his mom was, she said, "Oh, you're not my son," whatever. And then he got Stu and Billy, right? To kill Maureen, the mom.
I keep forgetting Stu and Billy killed the mom.
But there's a line at the end of this movie that drives me crazy. When Roman is like about to, trying to kill Sydney, he's like, "I'm going to kill you for stealing the mother I never had and for stealing the life that I never had." And I'm like, Sydney is a small town girl in like Woodsboro, and Roman Bridger, the character in this movie, was a big time Hollywood director directing Stab 3, and he even has a line in the movie about how, oh, the studio will let me make a romantic comedy or a romantic movie if I do this horror movie. So it's like, what life did she take from you? Without her in your life, you're a big-time Hollywood director. So there's no motivation other than my mom left me. And I don't know.
I gotta stop saying it's Dewey. I gotta stop saying it's Dewey.
Yeah, every single movie,
Dewey,
every single Scream movie from part 1 on, she's been like, I think it's Dewey this time.
I think it's Dewey.
And then at the beginning of this movie, she was like, oh, it's definitely Dewey this time. So
I can't. The weirdest faces.
I can't wait to start Scream 4 with you, because I already know what's going to happen at the beginning.
It's Dewey.
It's Dewey.
Is it Dewey?
In part 4?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you.
No, I think it is Dewey.
So, I don't love Scream 3. I think it is a watchable... Let's put it this way. If Scream 3 is the worst film in your horror franchise, you're not doing that bad. No, we've watched horror franchises. We've watched the Friday the 13th movies, okay? You want to talk bad sequels?
Talk about 5.
We got some bad sequels for you. And Scream 3...
It's not the worst.
If this is Friday the 13th Part 5, New Beginning, Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, Scream 3 is way above those.
Yeah.
So...
Part 9?
I don't hate it. But if you have your typical franchises, your Halloween... Resurrection, or if your Halloween 5,
Alien Mask,
Scream 3 is far above that. And kudos to Wes Craven for having this be the least of his no spoiler because I'm not going to tell you anything about part 4, but I happen to really like part 4. So we'll check out part 4 soon. I think it is, but you'll make that decision on your own. So stay tuned for our Scream 4 review, and then we're going to be doing a live review of Scream, which is coming out on January 14th. We're probably going to go see the Thursday night showing at around 7 o'clock. So we might have our live review up that Thursday night. Stay tuned for that. We have a ton of stuff. The Lasser Cast is entering its 3rd year of existence. We started in 2020 during the pandemic. We made it a full year last year. So thank you for sticking with us. Give our channel a subscribe if you haven't. Like this video. Watch our Scream reviews. Tell us your ranking of the Scream franchise after we see Scream.
Do not spoil it for me.
After we see Scream in the theater, we are going to do a ranking on that live reaction. So you'll be able to help us and tell us yours as well. So this has been Danny.
And Charlotte.
And we will see you soon for Scream 4. Happy 2022.